You know what the biggest lie in America is? They tell you owning a home is the dream, the ultimate sign you made it. But look me in the eye. You got friends with beautiful houses, right? Big places, nice neighborhoods, and they can't afford it, do nothing else. Can't take a vacation, can't go out to dinner, can't fix their car when it breaks down. They got the house, but they ain't got a life. That's called being house poor. And it ain't an accident, it's a setup. A long con run by the mortgage companies, the real estate industry, and every bank from here to the coast. They convinced the whole generation that the house is an investment, that bigger is better, that you should stretch yourself to the limit because you'll grow into it. You didn't hear this from me, but that's how they trap you. They get you to sign on the dotted line, and then you're theirs for 30 years. See, there's a war going on in this country, a fight over what success looks like. The real estate outfit, the banks, the home improvement stores, they all got the same agenda. They need you buying the biggest house you can barely afford. Why? Because a house ain't just a purchase, it's a lifestyle commitment. You buy the house, now you need furniture, you need lawn equipment, you need repairs, you need insurance, property taxes, utilities that cost more because the place is bigger. Every month that house is eating your paycheck alive, and you can't walk away. You're locked in. That's the turf war. They're fighting for your entire financial life. And the house is how they get it. So what do they tell you? What's the pitch? A home is your biggest asset. It builds equity. It's an investment in your future. Rent is throwing money away. But a mortgage, that's building wealth. That's the story they sell to the mooks. That's the fairy tale they've been pushing since your grandparents bought their first place in the suburbs. And look, I ain't saying homeownership is bad, but the way they sell it, the way they push you into something too big, too expensive, too soon, that ain't about helping you build wealth. That's about locking you into monthly payments for the next 3 decades. But between you and me, the whole rent is throwing money away thing, it's a fugazi, a misdirection. You know what's really throwing money away? Paying interest on a mortgage so big you can't afford to live. All right, here's how the racket works. Pay close attention. They get you approved for a mortgage based on the maximum you can borrow, not what's comfortable, not what leaves room for life. The maximum. The bank looks at your income and says you can afford a payment of $3,000 a month. But here's what they don't tell you. That's just a mortgage. That don't include property taxes, which in some places run $1,000 a month by themselves. That don't include insurance, another few hundred. That don't include maintenance. Maintenance runs about 1% of the home's value every year. So that $3,000 mortgage, it's really maybe 4.5 grand when you add it all up. And if you're earning 70, 80,000 a year after taxes, you just committed over half your take-home pay to one asset. Now you're house poor. You got the place, but you can't furnish it properly. You can't save. You can't invest. You definitely can't build an emergency fund. One busted furnace, one job loss, one surprise expense, and you're underwater. And that's exactly how they want you. Because a person who's house poor can't quit their job, can't take risk, can't say no when the boss asks for overtime. You're trapped, and the house is the cage. Yeah? How much? 42% of his take home. And they approved him? Another one. Hold on, I'm breaking down the whole con. So here's what happens. You buy the house. You're excited. You're proud. You post the pictures. Everybody congratulates you. Then the first mortgage payment hits. Then the property tax bill. Then something breaks, because something always breaks. The water heater, the roof, the HVAC, and you're scrapping together money just to keep the place running. Meanwhile, you can't go on vacation. You can't upgrade your car. You can't even go out to eat without feeling guilty. Every dollar that comes in goes right back out to service the house. You look around at your friends who are renting. Yeah, renting. And you know what you see? Flexibility, freedom. They're traveling. They're saving. They're investing in stocks and businesses in themselves. They ain't tied down to 4 walls and a foundation. And you got equity, sure, but you can't spend equity. You can't eat equity. Equity don't keep the lights on and put food on the table. You're asset rich and cash poor, which in my book means you ain't rich at all. I knew a guy once, good guy, solid earner. He bought a house, beautiful place, 4 bedrooms, 2-car garage, the whole 9 yards. 3 years later, he lost his job. Took him 6 months to find another one. By that time, he'd burned through his savings, just keeping up with the mortgage. Had to sell, lost money on the deal because the market dipped. walked away with nothing. He bought the dream, but the dream didn't protect him. The house didn't save him. If anything, it made things worse. Because if he'd been renting, he could have moved, could have downsized, could have adapted. They took the cannoli and left you the gun. That's what being house poor does. You sacrifice everything for the property. And when life hits you, and it will hit you, you got no cushion, no options, just a house you can't afford and a payment you can't escape. Now come closer, because here's what they don't want you figured out. Right now, this very second, if you're house poor, you're paying interest on more than just a mortgage. You're paying the opportunity cost of every dollar that's locked up in that property instead of working for you somewhere else. Think about it, that extra $1,000 a month you're spending on the house. If you bought something smaller, something more reasonable, you could be investing that money over 20 years at a 7% return. That's over $500,000. But instead, it's going to the bank, to the insurance company, to the tax collector, to the repair guy. You're bleeding cash to maintain an asset that might appreciate, but probably not as much as you think once you factor in all the costs. And here's the real kicker. The mortgage company already got paid. They sold your loan to an investor on day one. They got their taste. Now they're just servicing the debt and collecting fees. They don't care if you're struggling. They got theirs. You know what financial freedom looks like? It ain't a big house. It's options. It's liquidity. It's waking up knowing you can walk away from anything that don't serve you. But when you're house poor, you can't walk away. You're anchored. And an anchor don't help you swim. It drowns you. So what do? How do you avoid the trap? Step one, buy what you need, not what you're approved for. The bank's going to try to max you out. Don't let them. Keep your housing costs, all of them, under 30% of your take-home pay. That leaves room to breathe. Step two, factor in the hidden costs. Mortgage, taxes, insurance, maintenance, utilities. Add it all up before you buy. If the real number makes you uncomfortable, walk away. There'll be another house. Step three, prioritize liquidity over equity. Yeah, equity's nice, but cash is king. Keep an emergency fund. Keep investment accounts. Don't tie up every dollar in the walls. And if you're already house poor, it might be time to sell, downsize, move somewhere cheaper. I know that sounds like failure, but it ain't. It's strategy. Sometimes the smartest move is cutting your losses and building on solid ground. A smaller house you can afford beats a big house that owns you. So here's the offer. I'm extending you a seat at the table. You want the truth about home ownership? You want to stop letting real estate companies and banks dictate your life? Hit that like button. Subscribe. That tells me you're ready to think for yourself. That tells me you understand the difference between looking successful and being successful. This is a contract, a commitment, and it's only worth signing if it makes your life better, not harder. The question is, you going to let the house own you, or are you going to own your life? You got one ledger, one shot, and spending 30 years paying for a house you can't afford ain't living. It's surviving.